Hey there, fellow car lovers and history buffs. Buckle up, because today we're taking a drive back to the late 1950s, a time of tailfins, chrome, and big dreams from the big three. But one dream in particular turned into a full-blown nightmare. We're talking about the 1958 Edsel Corsair, a car so infamous, it became a punchline in comedy clubs, a warning in boardrooms, and a cautionary tale in design schools. The Corsair wasn't just a bad car. It was a symbol of what can go wrong when ambition outruns reality. Born from Ford's attempt to fill every gap in the car market, the Edsel line, and especially the Corsair, was a multi-million-dollar moonshot that came crashing down in spectacular fashion. From its bizarre styling to its mechanical headaches, the Corsair has become one of the most talked about automotive flops in history. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's unravel the story of how Ford tried to create the car of the future, and accidentally built one of the most legendary failures of all time. Imagine this: Ford spends years hyping up a car without ever showing what it looks like. That's exactly what they did with the Edsel. Ads promised a revolutionary automobile that would leave everything else in the dust. It was marketed as the car of the future, sleek, powerful, and loaded with cutting-edge tech. Ford even gave the project a secret name, the E-Car, short for experimental. It was like Detroit's version of the moon landing, only the rocket never took off. Separate dealerships were built just to sell Edsels. Factory workers were retrained. Millions were funneled into advertising, creating a frenzy before anyone had even laid eyes on the car. People expected something extraordinary, a marvel of modern motoring. But when the curtain finally dropped in 1958, jaws didn't drop in awe, they dropped in disbelief. Instead of a revolution, the public was greeted with a vehicle that looked like an Oldsmobile that had been rear-ended by a Lincoln. The front grille alone became the butt of endless jokes. Now let's talk about the looks. The 1958 Edsel Corsair was supposed to stand out, and boy, did it ever. Just not in the way Ford had hoped. That iconic, horse-collar grille? Designed to be bold and futuristic, it ended up being compared to everything from a toilet seat to a car trying to whistle. Some even joked that it looked like a Mercury after a bad night at the carnival. It didn't stop at the front. The car was overloaded with chrome, had bloated proportions, and looked like a Mercury distorted in a funhouse mirror. It was a mix of awkward and overdone, as if the designers couldn't decide on one style, so they threw in everything, just to be safe. For older folks who remember the 50s, cars like the Bel Air were sharp, balanced, and stylish. The Corsair? It looked like it was trying too hard and failing harder. It was a visual mess, and unfortunately, the inside was no better. Mechanically, the Edsel Corsair was a Frankenstein's monster. Built on Ford and Mercury platforms, it wasn't really new under the skin. But Ford crammed in unnecessary innovations, the most infamous being the Teletouch automatic transmission. Instead of a gearshift, it used push buttons in the center of the steering wheel, right where you'd expect the horn. Sounds cool? In theory, sure. In reality, it was a disaster. Drivers accidentally changed gears when trying to honk. In cold or wet weather, the electronics failed. Some cars would lock in gear or refuse to start at all. And that big 410 cubic inch V8 under the hood? It was powerful, yes, but clunky and inefficient. Add to that a dashboard layout that confused even experienced drivers, and you've got a car that wasn't just hard to look at, it was hard to live with. The more you drove it, the more it reminded you why no one else had done things this way. One of the most frustrating things about the Corsair wasn't just its looks or tech, it was how poorly it was put together. Early models came with misaligned panels, rattling trim, peeling paint, and dashboards that looked like they were thrown together by a blindfolded intern. Some Corsairs even left the factory missing parts altogether. Imagine buying a brand new car in 1958, a year when $1 still meant something, only to have it fall apart before your eyes. Dealers were sending new cars back for repairs before they even hit the showroom floor. Paint jobs were inconsistent. Chrome started pitting within months. Some cars had windows that wouldn't roll down or speedometers that didn't work. Ford rushed to meet deadlines, but the result was chaos on wheels. As one mechanic put it, even the junkyard wouldn't take it back. For many proud mid-century Americans, the Corsair was a symbol of betrayal, proof that big promises didn't always mean big quality. Despite all this, the Edsel Corsair came with a price tag that was nearly as high as a fully loaded Mercury. That left customers scratching their heads. Why spend more on something so strange, untested, and frankly, ugly? And keep in mind, 1958 was a recession year. People were looking for value, familiarity, and trust. The Edsel offered none of that. Instead of selling 200,000 cars as projected, Ford managed just over 63,000 Edsels in 1958, and less than 10,000 Corsairs. The car became a national joke, lampooned on TV, in newspapers, and in every local mechanic's garage. The Corsair was quietly dropped after 1959, and by 1960, the whole Edsel brand was gone. The financial damage? Over $350 million lost. That's over $3 billion in today's money. Ford never fully recovered from the PR hit, and for years the word Edsel was a punchline in American culture. So there you have it, the tragic tale of the 1958 Edsel Corsair. A car born from ambition, crippled by poor execution, and buried under the weight of its own hype. It's more than just a bad car, it's a reminder of what happens when marketing dreams ignore engineering reality. And while a few Corsairs survive today as rare collector items, most were abandoned, forgotten, or turned into scrap. For those who lived through it, the Edsel wasn't just a car, it was a cautionary tale on four wheels.